Welcome to the people and your energy, and welcome to a discussion that could be enlightening. With a new generation approaching, we must learn how to approach them. How do we significantly walk towards them to entice them to come towards us? And how should we approach moments of difficulty without sidestepping the individual in front of you, unable to cope with the energy they present? It is interesting to understand how you might approach someone who's different just as that. If you have someone familiar surrounding you, you approach them in your familiarity, looking at them through the eyes inside you, what you already know. You assess them according to who you are and how you have found life to be to this point. It is difficult to assess them as an individual in their own right. But an individual who is an individual in their own right, the new generation, has to be assessed a little different. Like a new adventure or a new moment, they have to be equated to energy that's unfamiliar and worked through in the moment that they are presented to you. It will be of limited value to try and arrange their vibration according to yours, for the two will be of great contrast, and the difficulty will be finding anything that's significantly similar. The new generation will think different. Old generations are wavelength like this. New is like this. Brain pattern will be different, distinctly different. So you can't ask them to calm down to communicate to you. And you can't ask them to fit nicely into the picture you are describing when they don't. What you can do is assess them as a new moment and enjoy the moment and let it give you the understanding. It's a difficulty if you're an old person, for you will notice in old people, however old you are, that you choose less and less new moments, and more of your experiences are related to what you have already done. So you will have to pry yourself away from your way of learning, assessing a situation, and create a new way of assessing the moment. In this frequency, individuals at this point in time are doing exactly that. Some are surrounded by situations constantly wrenching away old adage ideas. Some are surrounded by a new input that is quite controversial and chaotic inside the boundaries of the energy of the individual. All these experiences are the nature of approaching the new generation. Whilst the new generation is seen as individuals, it is also the frequency and vibration of those individuals and the energy around them that will present itself as the new generation. So this frequency is already appearing in situations now. And as already told, the generation has been here in some people for a while. So what would happen if you approach a moment like this as a new moment? Is it uncomfortable or is it familiar? And if you did this, you would be able to approach all new moments, whichever they were, and however they represented themselves, as the same. Then you have a difficulty. For the reaction to the moment is often what creates disturbance. All of you would have had a moment recently in your lives where you felt it was going forward the way you thought. And then it has been disturbed by a frequency outside you. How have you adjusted to this moment? For the individuals of the new generation will constantly give you this disturbance. They will confront you with conversation. They will give you unfamiliar justification to their thinking. Their emotions will be erratic and their decisions disturbed. And their reason for living life often undescribable. Just because it is, they will do it. They are aligned with frequency, not with words. They are aligned with feelings, not with words. So as they enter your space, full of feeling, just like these moments of disturbance recently, they will disturb you. Imagine in the dance floor of life, two individuals, one waltzing and one gyrating. And the two must dance together. They must dance together. The two can dance together if it is considered possible. And the two will disturb each other so much and not wish to dance together if it's considered not possible. How do they dance together will be a frequency joined together by itself. All they need to do is hold hands and accept the other person as different. And if they do so, the approach of the new generation to the existing generation will blend and meld to make a commonality, a frequency feeling that is understandable. But it won't have words. It won't be able to be described easily. You can see it now. There are people at this point in time relating to each other of different generations that have no problems of disturbance, standing next to others who cannot understand. And those who are able to facilitate the interchange of energy are ones trying not to understand only, but to interact in harmonious energy. The understanders, the thinkers, will become the hardened group of people, those who do not wish to make change, those who try to control the new generation. They will make books and rules to allow the other thinkers to justify the behavior of the highly erratic group of individuals. They're only erratic in the energy of old people. It is the frequency. It is their frequency. No more or no less. So don't fear approaching an individual in this generation. For you create a thought and try to cement the thought with an idea of understanding before even initiating the interchange of energy. Don't fear a new moment. Allow it to happen. And treat it as a new moment and be excited. And your open vibration will entertain it. If you do this and do it in a natural way, those you do it to, those already who have a frequency of this, will become excited for the old person frequency has aligned with them. It's not hard to approach the new generation unless you think about it and try to understand it. This has been your time.
Generally just wait for a few moments until time gets back.
In the energy of the moment, you are disturbed. And you have no pattern in which to assess the moment. What's going on? Are you thinking about where you are missing your information? Or are you relating your energy to the moment? Interesting to see your response. What is disturbing about approaching a topic or information about a new generation? Is it because you have trouble relating it to your own references inside? It is new information, difficult to relate to something you have experienced. And yet in this room, new generation people will understand entirely what is going on. Would you like now to ask a question? Or are you going to stay disturbed?
Charmaine, as a parent to new generation, wouldn't an old generation's vibration alter being around a new generation, and so therefore the parent adapt to the ways of the new generation child?
It will. However, to have a compatible relationship, there has to be a willingness to adapt by the parent greater than the child. The frequency of the child will be similar to the frequency of those who surround the child. They will be greater in number in the years to come. The parents will die off. The frequency of the parent then becomes the uncommon frequency. So if the parent is willing to open to suggestion of change, they will have no trouble relating to any individual, old or new generation. It is the adaptability of frequency that will allow you to adapt to the change. Individuals unwilling to adapt will remain unable to understand. They will be the lost ones. Another question?
If you have children that have the new generation and they somehow feel that they have to adapt to the older generation, how does that impact on them?
It's a difficulty trying to do a waltz when you don't want to. And when your feet do not allow you to move like old people. It's a difficulty. And if you have ever seen someone trying to learn how to waltz just because they want to for their old world partner, you will see how difficult it is. And some of them never ever get to the point of looking flash. That is the nature of the energy. Until the number of individuals in the younger generation overwhelms those in the older thinking world, these individuals will be cumbersome.
Are they able to So you're saying as they get older, perhaps they come across more people with the same vibration?
Yes. And more acceptance of this generation. So less and less resistance by the older generation. Their vibration will revert to naturality. Another question? She has another question. Okay.
Did you say revert to naturality or neutrality?
Naturality, the natural energy.
Right.
If you had neutrality, everyone would stand still looking at each other strange. Can't have that. Next question.
For the new generation,
Before the new generation, when is this?
No, for.
For the new generation, okay.
We have calmness in, I'm sort of mixed up with this frequency. Does the higher frequency mean that they experience calm in a different way to us? And how would they
Yes.
calmness?
True. In the old generation, calm is lying on your back, snoring. In the new generation, it's having a nice time. Correct. Well thought out. The problem, if you try to snore to dance, doesn't work. So how are you going to move your energy from a little anger, working with an individual who is new generation, to acceptance? You will have to go through calm and accept this is a new moment. Then vibrate frequency according to the moment. Align the best you can. But it will be frustrating. The frustration is the change in energy. It's like changing from first gear to fourth gear immediately. Imagine the new generation changing fourth gear to first gear. How frustrating that will feel. The car is awfully slow. It's the nature of the change. There are no gears in between. Next question.
Do you see a sort of a renaissance with the new generation? I was just reading a book about the Renaissance, I think, in the 15th, 16th century. Is there a sort of like a creative renaissance?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. What will happen to the bulk of the old generation? They will look stunned and have to revert to childhood behaviors, creative behaviors, to have any sense of sanity. Painting, music, dancing will become familiar again. There will be a creative renaissance to allow the energy of feeling to be acceptable. There will be a revolution against technology, against systems, financial systems, world systems, to revolutionize these systems to allow for individuality, for humanism. These things are yet to come. Another question?
I see that with the global issues that are at the moment, that is going to force generations old and new to explore that creative human process. Yeah.
Correct.
Right.
But you will find you can't push the old generation too fast. So the old generation will revert very quickly to establishing a foundation of their systems. It will happen again. And they will have to de-establish one more time before the new frequency will enter familiarity. Because they don't see it. They just see the system not working properly. Tighten the screws. They're old. They don't buy a new car. They tighten the screws. Next question.
Did you say that they will rebel against technology?
Yes. They will want the newest technology and discard old technology very, very quickly. So anything that is containing them, constraining the movement in new growth, they will abandon at remarkable speed. Computers will not keep pace. New gadgets will be the intrigue of the new mind. The old people will still be learning how to type. You can see it already. They are trying to type now. Next question.
What will happen in our places of learning, polytechs and universities and great big courses?
You don't need them.
What will happen to the new generation around study?
You have a manual, you can read it. You have the ability to work through instructions on a screen. You can follow them. Imagine having your new mode of communication, talking mode. And to understand it, all you have to do is talk to it, and it responds. Tells you what to push, how to find it, where to look. Imagine, what is the point of learning how to do it? If you have in the cell chip of a computer a live component, an amoeba, you have the ability to constantly change the responses. If you have a chip like now, you are limited by the cellular crystalline structure of the chip. You have not struck the new world yet. Wait and see how exciting it's going to be. Or how frustrating.
How do you see the old generation accepting the changes and what happens when integrate them?
Where are the old generation in this group? Most people here already are starting to accept, but there are not many people here. So it will be the same. Lying down sleeping. You can try all you like today to go and talk to someone, and you will find resistance. They are just coming to terms with typing. They don't want to try anything new and overwhelm them. They will be left behind. They will moan and resist. They will try to use systems to impose control on the new generation. And their new generation will smile at them, knowing more than they know and knowing the systems won't work. They will get angry, frustrated at themselves and at all the world. Governments will be brought to bear to make change. But the government will have the influence of the new generation in mind. So the change will be made, but not according to the old vibration, but according to where the vibration walks now. They will be isolated, insulated, and often sit down frustrated. That is the nature of what will happen quickly and soon. Next question.
Over what time span do you see all this changing?
You will find within 3 to 5 years a huge change. When the young ones, the bulk, hit puberty, you can expect chaos. You can expect it. Get ready. And then out of the covers, all those who are aligned already will shine as well. Not only the young ones, but those who already know their frequency is different will start to appear. Systems will be changing very quickly. It is dependent on how much chaos can be inflicted in a moment. And the wise young ones will know that if they debase the older generation, they will have no support in their generation. So they will move according to the feeling of right. How right will determine how fast. But they won't stop. Nor will this revolution of energy stop as well. Another question?
Are all the children being born after the new generation? Was it?
No. Some children are born into insulated situations. Parents are indoctrinating them in their patterning. So those children do not assimilate the frequency, but are learned to follow the old generation frequency instead. There will be children who do not fit into their age group or this change. Some parents are quite adamant, my child will grow up like me, and will impose systems on the child to ensure that they do not assimilate their natural frequency or those that surround them, but follow the parental wish. There are many parents like this now. Another question?
Does this not sort of dissimilar to what's already happened in history, like where...
Evolving energy is never dissimilar, but it is more pronounced this time. The dramatic change of the frequency will be more significant. The evolution of frequency is not dissimilar. You are correct. But the frequency before has been related to low-level vibrations. Those vibrations related to the agricultural society, sexual revolution, to the fundamental needs revolution. This frequency is different. It allows the young individual to access and look for self-esteem and actualization before the fundamentals. Their sense of worth and having a good life will be more important than the base of any pyramid. That is the difference. That's what changes the world, turns it upside down. The perspective. You have a think about it. You are a highly excited energy, and you have a mortgage. Can you see the reason for having a mortgage? Not in the new generation. You are a highly excited individual, and you have a marriage. Can you see the reason? The new generation might entertain a marriage for a little while. but not for long. A relationship, however, can have this frequency. And to relate one energy to another can be fine. But you don't have to stick to one energy or one type of energy when relating if you are excited about relating to people in general. You are relating to people, not to the word marriage. It will be flat line marriage, like dead flat line. You laugh, but the structure of marriage supports society. The new generation will not support the structure of marriage or society. They will harmonize with other individuals and not be concerned who they are as long as there is affinity of energy. Already, they do not assess an individual by their age, by the nature of their gender, by the type of job or their background, by the color of skin or culture. They just assess them by how they feel. They will make the most of their feeling life through these attachments, and at the end of their life had a journey of feelings, mostly fulfilling. Another question?
So will religions wane because they're quite structured?
No, the old people will love them. They will tie themselves into the bounds of marriage. They will profoundly profess these words of wisdom to all those lying down dead, and will be ignored by all those who know better. The next question? Another question?
It's really interesting you're saying about the agricultural revolution and the technology revolution. What's after the technology revolution?
Mindset revolution. The mind will be pushed beyond its boundary, and the frequency of mind extended beyond thought. It will be a mindset boundary. There will be ways to assess in the mind feeling, and the frequency of feeling will be assessed like heart. You will be able to monitor it according to a machine. And the total picture will determine health. So, limited minds will be broadened. And the greatest revolution will be in broadening the mindset of those who have determined how to think. Each and every revolution of major importance was not connected to the other, but was evolved from the other. There is no particular pattern to show lineage in the revolutions. They have been determined in hindsight to show pattern. This one will be the same. If you don't want to use the linear path of technology, the programmed, controlled path of technology, the only way you can move is beyond program controlled paths of the mind. The revolution will be breaking mindset. Another question?
Will the new generation, if you're terming look after the planet,
look after the planet?
more so than this generation?
No. They will be aligned with the energy of the planet, but will they look after it? Individuals who are human don't look after each other. They would not look after their pet or their clothes well. I don't think you'll find they look after the planet any better than the generation that precedes them.
When you say they're aligned more with the planet, does that have an impact on the planet?
Yes? For the frequency is able to milk the planet more effectively, to harmonize with the planet more effectively. They won't be disturbed so much by disaster or having to allow trees to grow to give oxygen. But tomorrow they will ignore it and cut the trees down. The rules will go and be abandoned for feeling. Feels right today, feels wrong tomorrow. It won't be quite like this, but you can understand that they may not maintain things because they don't have systems that control things. So even in the planet, looking after the planet is only because rules are imposed. Rules make system. They will not like to maintain strong control systems. Next question.
Are you indicating that it'll be like a state of anarchy or something?
For the old people, yes. All that you appear to have achieved will look to be lost, except when you look at the faces of all the smiling people. Another question?
How can parents make sure that their children don't lose their natural vibration? That they are constructed into a system?
It's like saying, how can you be sure a boy is not a boy? They won't. You have mentioned another question inside though. You are saying, how do I relate and ensure that we maintain them in the best position? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. You have the ability to understand the old generation energy. To allow them to relate, your job is to relate this energy to them. If they are aware of the frequency and the alignment of the frequency, the reason for the frequency, they can then determine what they wish to follow. They are lost if they don't have those people explaining the energy. They will not necessarily follow, but they will be able to understand. So you will then teach them a little thinking. A little thinking, a lot of feeling. They will blend in this world in the evolutionary phase. If you want to maintain them in their most natural state, don't make them wholehearted thinkers. Allow them to feel. Keep the feelings open. Encourage the feelings to be a consistent part of making an assessment of a situation or a moment. And allow the patterns to be explained of the old generation, maybe as different to the new, so that they can assess their position and whether they wish to align, assimilate, or stand still in their own way. Another question?
How will the new generation be in a spiritual manner?
What is a spiritual manner? It's a whole lot of people sitting crazy in one space. Those people who do not align with the thinkers or religion. So how will these new crazy individuals who don't align with religion or thinkers feel? Perfect. Clever girl. Do you have another question?
Is the new generation happening mainly in the developed world?
Yes. In perspective, let me explain. Individuals who come in through a vibrationary time will come in with the vibration instilled in their vibration. So all individuals entering in a space and allowed to associate with the vibration that surrounds them will have an interaction and will support a new generation vibration. However, what will appear apparent is contrast. So you won't find much contrast in an agrarian society. You will find that the vibration is not allowed to be stimulated or is totally stimulated when the young children dance or play. But in a sophisticated society, the old generation and the new generation will clash the most. For the old generation is more determined in this society to support systems, thinking. Notice the thinking of agrarian society, a natural community close to earth, is relatively fundamental and mainly based on feeling. It has simplicity to it. It is only in a sophisticated society that big words mean something. And if you don't support them, then you are not respected or something yourself. So it will be most noticeable in a sophisticated group of people. But it is only because of the contrast in the extremities of energy. Next question.
I might take one more question and then have a break.
What will the children of the new generation be like?
What will they be like?
Will they have the same frequency as their parents?
Some parents. Most parents, no. The new generation will be vibrant, warm, loving, considerate, highly excited within a moment, fickle, not make up their mind easily, yet a moment later change their mind. They will be consistent for a little while and then wish to try something different. Confrontational if a rule is imposed. If a rule is imposed tightly, more confrontational. They will be entertaining, highly intellectually entertaining. Play with ideas in their minds and confuse old generation. Outwit those old people. This is the nature of new generation. They will find associations and want to find more and more, and will not want to wait in time to experience things. Short is more exciting than long. They will look young and be young throughout the majority of their life because they want to be happy. Happiness will come through their body and their frequency commonplace, and they will not have a need to carry the stress the old generation is motivated to maintain.
So will they be healthier children? Healthier?
No. Because of their frequency, they will be disturbed by the frequency of society. The rules. You want to run fast, but the rule says no running in the corridor. So, they will create their own resistance, stress, trying to control their energy to be good. If you are not natural in your energy, you can never be well. So, unwell children will be common. They will be depressed. They will be suicidal. They will have ailments people have never seen. They will be energetically disposed, burnt out quickly. They will not be willing to concentrate for long, to study for long. These things will create problems, headaches for all those involved. Another question?
Can you offer any advice to grandparents of the older generation like me who want to assist the young children? And
don't be a grandparent. Be a grandparent. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the individual in front of you. Don't try to be your lineage, but be present and accept it as a new adventure. And it will excite you if you do and are able to assimilate the energy of change. There is no reason for an old person to remain old anymore, or to get older just because of age. This vibration will keep you young if you want to work with it. You will see it already happening. Those who work in a way similar to the vibration do not appear to age at all. This is the time, I can tell. So this has been your time. I'm watching you.
You especially.
Your energy has changed. Notice how you have related to the moment and the information. And the disturbance was not as great as you expected. And see how you are vibrating now, different to before. You have let go and started to work with what's actually there, instead of finding yourself thoughts to relate it to. How interesting. Would you like to ask more so we can give you more information? No more, I go home. What now disturbs you about the vibration on this earth? I will tell you how it relates to the new vibration. What is your dilemma at the moment? Your problems. Nothing. Nothing. How do you feel at this point in time? How do you feel? You will feel full. It's hard to think when you are relating in the new generational way. Your energy has changed, I told you. Let me tell you more and you can relate more. For it may be easier to facilitate information at this point than ask a lot of questions. But ensure that you connect by asking some.
Will the new generation succeed in breaking down societal boundaries of the old generation?
If you could find one, they will. What boundary are you talking about? Are you talking about the societal systems?
Yeah, the political boundaries.
They will willingly break them down. Can't you see it already? Have you ever seen a young person talk to a policeman? Have you ever seen two people least likely to kiss? Have you watched the clothes they wear and how they act, even though they are little at school? It's happening already. It doesn't disturb them, but disturbs the old generational parents, the policymakers, those people who created rules that can no longer control this new behavior. What happens? More rules. For the thinkers only know how to go back to the table and think. If you felt it was right as a new generational person, then it is right. And soon, more and more will establish how right their feelings are. You will hear defiance expressed by many new generation people. I don't care. They do care. They have feelings. They don't care about rules, about systems, about the confining, constraining energy of another generation's input. And they don't care about people who don't try to get to know them. Any question?
It's a question about homework. If one of the new generation children finds the homework system restrictive, it makes it difficult for them at school.
Of course. And yet their insight is schools will not be required in the future. What is a school? A group of individuals who are told to learn a combined idea. Told how to learn it and what to expect from the thought. It's not an experiential interchange of energy, but a world of controlled understanding. So someone in the new generation has homework. And if they are able to feel aligned with it, will do it with excitement. And if they do not understand it, will struggle to do it at all. And more and more of them will not do it until there is no homework. And many people already know this is coming. Have you not seen changes in education? Where those who are a little insightful are now proposing that all moments in school are experiential. They would go further if the thinkers would allow them to. But the thinkers have to write policy, words on paper, for all of those who teach to follow. Until those words disappear, those people who exist relating to the new generation in a way that aligns will be limited in their function. Could you accept no homework? Could you? Not if your child constantly got told off by the system. You wouldn't. How willing are you to confront the system? For the child does constantly. If you're able to align with the child, you will know ways to work with the information so that the homework is exciting and experiential. The interface will be those who relate to the generation. The interface have a lot of work to do and will often become exhausted until they are learned to align easily. Those on the interface at this point in time will find themselves losing old adages, old patterns, and reluctantly standing in air that is clear so they can vibrate. You will see it in yourself and in others. You will see it. And they will move forward quickly with the frequency. Another question?
Where would the new generation find support for themselves?
Where do you find support for you?
Inside.
Sometimes. Sometimes. You can only support an internal structure so far until you need to align it with other structures. To test its support or ideas inside are fundamentally true. So, the individuals will align through energy with like individuals. As you find someone in your pathway fits your picture, so will they. Do not concern yourself with the worry of who they will find, for they will find them. Do not concern yourself with the worry that those people will find familiar energy, and this will not form patterns of age or gender or culture or credibility. It will be aligned energy only. Pure energy. For the patterns of age are set by society. The rules of gender are set by society. The rules of culture are determined by society. All these things will change. One world, one energy will exist in time. Only when all the old people die. So if you breed an insulated new one, it will be a little while. Another question?
I'm just like what you just said, one world, one energy. Does that mean that it's not going to continue evolving in time?
You evolve constantly. This world will become closer and closer to one consciousness energy. It will still evolve. And there is frequency that you have never seen yet to be explored. Another question?
Do you want to tell us about that frequency?
No. Why would you want to know? To confuse yourself? Would you want to attain a frequency you could not understand? Let me ask you this question. Do you understand God? Your answer? You can understand why I don't want to talk about another frequency. It will confuse you inside. It's not my job. Next question. Don't be disappointed. It's not my job. One frequency at a time.
So what is the frequency, the new generation, what about when they start having babies? What's the frequency coming after this new generation frequency? A millennia.
God frequency. You pushed the point. I pushed it back.
We're talking about a lot more love.
That's a linear perspective. I'm talking about a lot more alignment. That's a God frequency. But it would be difficult for you at this point to accept your thought is shared by all and your energy exchanged with all in the moment you sit. Difficult. For then you would feel highly exposed and unable to be individual. That could be upsetting for people. To know that all know you and know all of you at all time is a difficult position to understand. But the nature of the frequency. Next question.
What is intuition? And in some ways is that we're moving into that frequency that you're talking about?
Intuition is a mind word. It allows the thinkers to relax the thought, to accept a word that gives passage to the frequency that we are talking about. It allays the thinking problem, for you have an answer to a question. Thinkers like answers to questions. So, it's a word that answers a question. But it is nothing more than a word until you look at it. And a word without great definition, not defined by thinkers yet. So you can look at it and give it any definition you like. This will allow the doorway to open, to bridge the world of thinkers to the feelers. It's a word that describes the energy of feeling and thinking together. So it is a good word to use, to allay the thinkers when you use it. For those who are not thinkers relating to each other, it is not commonly used, for they use vibration or energy as words. But when you find a thinker, those words don't make sense. So you must use the polyfiller, intuition. It fills the gaps. Do you have another question? Feel free to use the word. for it will create a bridge between the feelers and the thinkers. If it is used commonly, the bridge will be created strongly.
Like, when you talk about like energy and vibration, I feel that the energy seems to be speeding up. So is that outside me that I'm picking up on, or inside me that is speeding up? My vibration is going faster, or is it vibration of both that's speeding up?
You're just in a new generation car. Your vibration is not speeding up at all, for you wouldn't be able to sit still. Your thinking is no faster than before. Your awareness is just greater than before. And you have accepted your ability to interpret the frequency that others do not interpret. This gives you more and more information beyond the frequency you once had. What appears to be speeding up is your ability to assimilate more information about the moment. For you are able to align with the moment more accepting than before. And the moment now has a perception of energy. Energy is the description of some substance or form between atoms. So, old person used to see the atoms. Now you see the connection, the energy. As you see it, you perceive it in different frequencies according to situations. So, you are able to assess and assimilate a lot more information. The willingness that you have to assess this information means you must work faster to recognize a moment, because you have more of the moment to recognize. This is why you may think you are going faster. In fact, your thinking has to keep up with the moment that was just happening. Another question?
What will happen in the monetary system with the new generation?
Money will be maintained, but have little value. It will be exchanged more freely without any sense of responsibility. Young people, those of this mind, even older people, but young generation people, will want large amount of money and expect it for no relevant amount of work. And will spend it and not worry about the significance of relativity in the objects that they purchase. It will become debased. But they won't mind. Just the old people will.
So when you say, you mean money will be debased?
Yes. It is a form of exchange, so they will willingly exchange it faster, more frequently, but not worry about it like old people. It will come tomorrow. Don't worry, there is more than enough money in this world. Don't worry about it, for you will fill your mind with thought. Those are patterns they will not have. And if they have them, they will try their best to extinguish using whatever facilities they have access to. The Renaissance man is right. The revolution will occur again. Another question?
for the new generation, like in terms of where they live in the countryside and the city?
They are human, so anywhere you live is okay. They like to be different, so they need to have different spaces and different places to live in. They will not stay, however, in one place for too long if it is not exciting. So the city or the country, if it gives them excitement, will be their destination. You cannot think in terms of old revolutions that they may return to the land. For to watch grass grow is not very exciting for some. Nor is milking cow by hand. Those are old generation excitement. Watching star shooting or sun rising is new generation excitement. And you can do this on a balcony in a building or by a beach. It does not matter. Another question?
Would their society be as wasteful as ours, or is it capitalistic?
A wasteful society is a society that does not align with nature, with the outcomes of the society, imposing their residual on the surroundings. Will they be as wasteful? Answer is yes. But what they waste will be different. Their capital values will be different. So they will waste capital items. You might find they hold on to old containers and throw out computers. Wait and see. Who is more wasteful? The new generation or old? There will be no great change in this pattern. For humans, waste. It is the nature of a human body to create waste. It is the nature of human energy to utilize what they have around them for their own good, and what is not required to abandon. That is waste. And until this part of human function changes, there will always be waste. Given a plate of food that you think is very tasty, are you willing to eat only what you require, or do you finish the food? When the humans can eat only what they require and prepare only what they need, on the plates that they require and no more, with the things they require and no more, in the space they require and no more, then maybe waste will be no more. It's a big question with no answer just yet. Next question.
You said before that the new generation isn't going to, say, look after the planet any more than we do now, but we're going to be more aligned with the planet. Wouldn't that make us ill if we didn't look after what we're aligned with?
The new generation will be occupied with different energy. Illness comes from unaligned energy. As their energy is confronted with old generation rules and regulations, they will be ill anyway. They may not be ill according to nature, but according to the environmental sickness of the society they try to survive in. How do you feel in your energy? Struggling? Why did you put yourself in the old generation when you are not? You already feel the effects of another vibration. Can you determine this is just nature when it is environmental factors that are affecting you? Why have you shut down, shut off from outside? Because outside shuts off from you. Well done, I can feel you.